Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show on this Thursday the 4th of April, 2024. Something's going on. What do we see here in this chart? Gold is the golden line here, and the red line is the U.S. 10-year. Now we can see that what they typically do, let me pull this up a little bit. This goes all the way back to 2005, this chart. And what you can see, what typically happens is as the U.S. 10-year yields rise, gold typically, generally they follow one another. You can see the correlationship. They follow one another, but this is a huge divergence. And we've seen bond yields rising on the 10-year lately, and gold price shooting to the moon at the same time. What's going on? Something weird going on here. It says normally this would bring it crashing down, gold, when we see these yields rising. And today, we see the US dollar falling. And gold should go up. Gold's going down. Some sort of inverse relationship actually happening here that I don't really understand. But what I think's happening is there's something, this financial manipulation that the Fed does. They have so many switches and gears that they can pull in the financial system. Everything now is manipulated. All the markets are manipulated. And they control the money source. They can withdraw money or they can add money. Something strange is going on about all this, and I feel quite confident it's something that the Fed's doing behind the scenes that we don't know anything about that's causing these strange effects. Also, that tied in with the traders and stuff and people out there behind these markets knowing that something's up. Maybe perhaps we're at risk of an asset collapse or an economic financial crisis just around the bend. And as they see these yields moving in that direction, they're buying gold out of fear or panic or who knows. It says here that it might be signaling investors that are becoming worried that major turmoil is coming. And this could be part of it. It could be the war. Just not exactly sure what's going on, but I do know that this is something very unusual that's happening right now. And the correlation today compared to the last few days of what's been going on. So we've seen the yields popping up high on the US 10-year the last few days, raising by as much as maybe 12 basis points. And then today we see a slight fall in yields. Right? So we've seen gold surge during those days when yields are rising. And now today when the yields falling just a little bit, gold's falling just a little bit. Also correlating to the dollar. The dollar's falling just a little bit today, and gold's falling just a little bit. Though when the dollar's rising, gold's rising. Now that's not right, because when you see the dollar falling, gold should be going up. And when the dollar is going up, gold should be going down. So there's something weird going on here in the financial system. It might be on the verge of something happening. Now, you all know that the Iran embassy was targeted and blown up and killed people. But now Iran's being rocked again by overnight terror attacks. 11 dead. Series of terror attacks in Iran overnight involving gunmen. Several locations storming police stations. 11 security members dead. 16 suspected Sunni militants were killed during the assaults, which took place in the towns of Chabhar and Rask. It says the terrorists failed to succeed in achieving their goals of seizing the guards' headquarters. So, a lot of pressure is on Iran right now, you know, to respond to whatever in this war situation. Iran's kind of like one of these countries that's in the middle. We got Russia, we got China, we got the United States, we got Great Britain, we got all these different countries, North and South Korea. Iran kind of like, there's certain countries that are in the middle of all this. India's in the middle of all this. Turkey's in the middle of all this. North Korea's in the middle of all this. Iran's in the middle of all this. These are countries that are like in the middle of all this situation that's occurring between the superpowers. The superpowers are restless right now. Ukraine is bombing these Russian oil refineries with these little drones. Some of them, I guess, are made out of cardboard. You wouldn't want to fly that on a rainy day. But they can fly quite deep inside enemy territories. They're just basically a flying motor. It's got a little gas engine on the thing, and practically like a lawnmower engine flying along in the sky, you know, but it's packed with explosives. It gets to its target, boom. And so they've been targeting these Russian oil refineries with quite a bit of success. But is this kind of a last-ditch effort to consider that the war effort itself on the ground, the front lines, are on the verge of collapse? But this is striking Russia inside their own territory. And Russian, you know, right now, Russia is sending messages to France. France has been thinking about sending troops. They've been considering things in this situation, but they got a rare call from Russia right now, and the Russian defense minister, he's warned the French counterpart against sending the troops to Iran from France. Of course, with something like 6,000 nuclear missiles Russia has, you know, and they have to pick places to aim them. I'm thinking to myself, hey, you know what? Maybe the Russians will pull a few pins out of the map where they had the missiles aimed before and aim them in a few new areas that, as you know what I mean? Anyway, just me speculating about that. Now, this is a real tragedy. See this guy in the photo? He looks like a really nice guy. Big smile on his face, you know. And he was out to help other people. There's about 1.5 million hungry people in Gaza right now, in the Gaza Strip, because of this war that's being waged between Israel and Hamas. And so he was feeding these hungry people. He was a military veteran. He had a young son at home. He had a wife. It says a Canadian man was killed Monday along with 6 other aid workers in Gaza Strip. He was a military veteran from Quebec. I guess he was a dual citizen, so I guess a citizen of the United States and Canada both. His death leaves behind a partner and a 1-year-old son. Said Jacob Flickler, 33 years old, is all. What a shame. He worked for the World Kitchen and Health Aid Organization. No, I didn't pronounce that right. It's World Central Kitchen Aid Organization. That's who he worked for. He'd been helping in Gaza since early March. It says Jacob was a fantastic guy. He said he was always supportive, always smiling. What a crying shame. We should know better. This is the 21st century, for crying out loud. By now, we should know, as a species, we should know not to wage war. We should know how bad it is. Yet they're all gung-ho. They're all building new weapons as fast as they can. But on the front side of the war, after it's over, then they say, never again. We'll never do that again. But that by that time it's too late. You get in this kind of a situation. I mean, back in World War II, you had millions of dead people by the time they said we'll never do that again. This time around, it could be billions of dead people. Now, you know what? Bird flu. Could this be disease X? I'm going to tell you, it's trying to make its way into the human population. It's trying to. It's trying to recombine itself or whatever, or mutate or whatever the heck these viruses do, these pathogens. But this stuff can be like, I guess in the form it is now, it's like 60% deadly. I mean, what were we dealing with COVID? Like, it was only like minuscule in comparison to 60%. It wasn't even nothing like that. 60% deadly as heck. Would it be that deadly after it mutates? If it mutates? So anyway, here in a U.S. egg producer again in the United States is halted production of one of its facilities after the bird flu. Highly pathogenic avian influenza, HPA1, was detected. Cal-Maine Foods, I guess. In Palmer County, Texas. What do they have to do? Kill all those chickens? Will they have to cull them all? Yeah, I'm going to tell you guys what I heard. I've heard that it's in the bird's feces. So, I mean, you guys, if a bird comes out and they fly in the sky, because not just this poultry might have it, birds in the wild could have it too. And it can be passed on to humans. Not often, but it can be, and it's in the feces, so some bird comes out and he poops on your car or something. I would put on a pair of gloves and stuff and use some cleaner that had disinfectant or whatever. I'd be very careful around it. I wouldn't. If you have to go around something, if some bird poops on your car or something, I'd be very, very careful. And they're always pooping on your windshield. They fly across the sky. Heaven forbid. You see a flock of birds flying overhead. You just want to think twice because they could poop on you. It's happened. Let's tell you, a lot of people have been through that. If anybody in the comments section, you guys out there, have ever been pooped on by birds flying by, let me know in the comments section, okay? Because I think that happens to a lot more people than you would realize. Okay, silver today is $27.05. It's down 8 cents. See, it's moving down proportionately to the bonds. This is very irregular. Silver's moving down proportionately to gold, too. It's only moving down a little bit. See, the bonds yield's falling just a little bit. And we see the dollar falling a little bit. This is highly unusual. This is $27.06 for silver. Gold today is $22.92. Now, see, gold's moving proportionately the same percentage-wise as the bonds and the... Now, take a look. You'll see as I progress through these charts. $22.92 for gold. Taking a look at cryptocurrency today. Bitcoin 67,618. Ethereum is at 33.63, and XRP is 59 cents. So we see that nothing's really much happening with the cryptos today. Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 207 points at 39,335. That's 39,335 for the Dow. The oil today is down 23 cents at 85.20 today for oil. And you see that proportion? Oil's moved down proportionately, very similar amount. And we see bonds and rates. This is proportionate to the move in gold and silver today, too. We see these yields falling a half a basis point or 1 basis point on the U.S. 10-year and 1.6 on the U.S. 30-year. To the downside is proportionate. The U.S. 10-year is 4.34 and the U.S. 30-year is 4.94. No, 4.49. These are proportionate moves. We see the last couple days, we've seen yields rising, we've seen gold price shooting up. It's supposed to be in reverse. Something's going on. The dollar index today is 104, and we see that exact same proportionate move to the downside. 24 cents on the dollar at 104. 0.23 to the downside. So, are you telling me that if we see the dollar start to go up and we see bond yields start to rise on the 10-year, that we're probably going to see gold start to bull up again and go higher? If we see the yields rising on the 10-year? You guys know how weird that is. Thank you guys for listening to the show. I think it's something the Fed's doing with their manipulating the money markets and stuff behind the scenes. They got so many levers and knobs and stuff that we don't know about. But it can have a big impact, and it can make the financial system act funny. I'll catch you guys in the next show. Have a great day. Bye-bye.